Okay, second knife we're going to sharpen today is going to be this 165 millimeter SG2 Damascus Nakiri, made by Master Shirogami Kamo and is available on pushchopjapan.com. And like the other one, I'm going to take the file to it and get rid of that cutting edge for this demo. Yes, this does not feel good. Sending shivers up my spine, but I'll tell you what, I want to make sure we're starting off with a perfectly good dull knife. Clean it up on this side here. Check it on some paper. Not really doing a good job of cutting, so we know it's a perfectly good dull knife. Okay. I think this one from the factory has a 50-50 grind, so I'll leave that on here for now. Like I did the last time, I just lay it on the side, hold it. Not a whole lot of lip on there because these Nakiris are really thin. They cut like a razor, but if you're familiar with the SG2 steel, they are tough enough to handle the job. Okay, so I got my angle. Let's start at the tip. This is my first time sharpening this blade. I have sharpened Nakiris before, but not in this type of steel, so this is the first time for me. At least with the SG2 in a Nakiri shape. Might even go a little bit quicker than the Santoku because I didn't grind off as much. So we'll see how it goes. Already got a burr there. Might need a little bit more up front, but starting from here, it's very, very good. It maybe needs a little bit more on the heel, or the chin, I should say. SG2 is a little bit harder of a steel than the VG1, so it requires a little bit more finesse. A little more patience. In this situation, this type of steel, I do tend to count a little bit so I can make sure I get a few more strokes before I move on. And then afterwards, back to normal. I like to move the blade across back and forth. Maybe two or three pushes, then I slide. 2 or 3 pushes and move over. 2 or 3. Always keep in mind that you're only sharpening where your fingers are touching. Make sure you're getting the whole blade. Still needs a little bit more of a burr up front. Let's take a look at that edge. It's looking pretty good. Don't want to cut off too much more, so I want to hurry up and address that. Maybe not go so hot, so so high on this Nakiri. When on my first Nakiri, I tried sharpening up around the curve. Learned that wasn't a great idea. So if you got one at home and you're about to sharpen it, just keep it in mind. You don't really want to sharpen way too far up that curve. And it looks like that's what I'm trying to do, so I'm gonna have to stop going up so high, but the tip does need a little bit more. Keep that sucker clean. Feels pretty good. All right, let's get the other side now. I guess we'll do it this way. Seems to be right. Burr's already coming up on that side. Touch it real quick up here again. And again, this is the way I like to be ambidextrous. Try to teach yourself that talent, that skill of sharpening the same way in both hands. If you'd like to, if you're comfortable with the other way, please stay doing it that way. But I think it's good to learn this one as well. For me personally, it's a lot more comfortable of a position and style. And I personally get more better, consistent results as of learning it this way. Burr's up, so let's go to Stropping. This guy again. These rust erasers, I do love them. Clean the stone off really good, especially when you got one of those pretty white ones or yellows or light colored ones. You want to get that black off of there. Those things are really quick. They don't really grind off any of the stone or powder. Put a little bit of this guy on there. Get a little bit of that lubricity on there. Again, you're not putting any pressure other than just enough to keep the blade on there flat. Push it across. And you're stroking this, you're just trying to get rid of that burr that's left over. Right here, posture is key. Practice, practice, practice. You could do a great job sharpening, but when you get to this spot, the angle wavers too much. In some cases, you gotta just do it over. So always be mindful while stropping. Sound coming off of there was pretty good to me, so I'm going to check it out. I like to use my ears a lot while I'm sharpening. Listen to that steel. If you got a good consistent push or pull, you can hear how it's reacting on there, and it'll tell you where you need to do a little bit more. very nice. Very crisp, very clean. SG2 is a wonderful steel too. I love it. Don't get me wrong, the high carbons are great. The traditional, faithful, I mean, just nothing bad about them. But I do like me some SG2 too. 2-2. We'll clean this guy up and we'll get on the finishing off with the 3000 series Chosera by Naniwa. And that comes off really nice and clean. And I just flattened these yesterday, I believe, for the first time since I bought them. I probably had these guys, I would say 4 years. And I've sharpened on them so much. I once heard that you don't really need to flatten your stones, but I don't believe in that. I don't think you need to flatten them as much as you think you would. But if, like in the case of these guys, I did start to be able to see visually the little bowl or cupping sensation or effect it was having. So when I straightened it out, flattened it, wow, the performance jumped right up, skyrocketed. So always make sure to take care of these guys too. All this stuff, you got to remember, the Japanese knife market, it's more than just an item. It's something someone took the time and years and even generations of experience and took it out on the end of a hammer to make this thing. So if you're getting into it, just keep in mind it's a great habit to get into taking care of everything that goes into it, every component, from the stones to the steel, even your rust erasers and your Nagura stones. This is a habit that comes with a lot of passion, tradition, and respect. Love what you're doing. And the 3000 is not so much a grinding stone or sharpening. I would say it's more of a fine tuning. It's on the threshold, I think, of being a very high polish stone. Though the Choseras do seem to polish a lot higher than what their grit says they do. Like I said, these guys have impressed me so much. I use them about 90% of the time I sharpen. Synthetic, splash and go. You can't go wrong with the Naniwa. And again, I do not work for the company, but I am very, very pleased with the product they sold me. Again, I just like to lubricate that stone. I think, to me, this is what it feels like it does, is it lubricates the stone. And notice when I do a lot of finishing, to get that cloudy look on the side of some of my knives, I'll use an 800, and it gets really sticky and it wants to just like vacuum almost itself to the stone. But when I rub the Nagura across it, get up a little film on there, it seems to lubricate the surface. That's why, to me, I think of it as a lubrication actually. Again, 165 millimeter VG1 Santoku. The edge did come out great. But the 3000 will make it super. This guy's not really grinding up so much metal as it is just fine tuning the surface of the freshly ground cutting edge. Just like when you sandpaper wood, it's a grit. It's not so much cutting it off, but it's smoothing it out. Getting rid of all the really jagged pieces on the microscopic level. I mean, at home use, you get really good with an 800,000 grit stone. That would be the only one you would really need, honestly, for maintenance. But if you're finicky like me and you want to make sure you can cut those jalapeno skins and tomato skins without any effort, I always do finish off with a 3000 or another grit equivalent to. Like I say, you go up any higher, you'll just be polishing. I mean, it won't have a good effect on the edge. It would improve it. I think the 3000 is a good grit to finish off on. Did already push over a burr, so let's stop there. Avoid from grinding off too much metal. Like I said, these knives will last longer than we will. So if we take care of them and don't grind off so much, the better they'll stay in their original look and profile. These knives will always be here for us, so we got to make sure we take care of them. Again, I'll go this way just for demonstration purpose. And then switch over to my comfortable to finish it off, my comfortable grip. I don't know what it is, but for me personally, this just doesn't seem comfortable. It's great. Obviously it works, does a fine job, but for me personally, I like the other grip. But now I think about it, let me finish this one off this way. See if I can still get just as good as an edge, because I always finish off holding it the other way. Does have a micro bevel. Let's clean this up. And that's what I mean by the 70-30 grind. You do most of the work on the dominant side, the back. It's just mostly just cleaning up. 30-70, 70-30. My favorite angle for my personal knives. Check this out. I'm very happy with that. It still doesn't take away that feeling it gave me when I was running the file against the cutting edge, but I'm glad to see you back. This cutting edge, I missed you. Gotta love it. Always very satisfying feeling when you're done. That's just a drop of water. Good edge. And of course, if you want to finish it off with the letter stroke, I would recommend that too. If it's something you want to invest in. I personally made my own. I still use it. It's great. You don't really need to go out and buy any fancy leather. Just the regular kits I think you get at a craft shop will have like a smooth and then a rough surface piece, and some Gorilla Glue and some nice oak. You got yourself a great stroke. But to carry on, get this guy cleaned up. Got aluminum oxide off of there. Lubricate. I think what this does is just draw up the powder, which actually does act like a lubrication. The angle. Keep in mind, one foot a little bit back further than the other. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. You're not really exerting too much pressure, but I think as long as you have that foot stance, it allows you to keep your upper body a lot more stable. And what you're really doing is just using your arms and swinging like a pendulum. Remember only to allow the elbow and the shoulder to swivel, pivot. Keep everything else flat and straight as possible. Especially on these flatter profile knives, that will be a lot more effective of a mindset. Bevel already up. SG2 is an amazing steel, I love it. Okay. I think if you're right-handed like me, your right foot behind you would be a little bit better because it kind of allows your body to open up on the right side. That's your dominant hand and the one you're using to control the swing. It's good practice too. Still need a little bit more right about here. Good there, but I do want to finish it off in my comfortable grip. Again, whatever grip works best for you, stick with it. You only get better at it. It'd be a lot more natural of a move for you personally. On the tip. Feels good. Ooh, that was not good. Not bad. Time to stroke it. Time to give it a test. say I'm not happy with that. Whoops, probably not the best move. Great knife, great edge, amazing stones. Like I said, the Naniwas, not too good of one. The Naniwas have been great to me. Love these guys. Speaking of which, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you have any questions, comments, or would like me to work on something else, demonstrate, please drop a comment. But make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'm not going to stop these videos. Whenever I see something new or I get the opportunity to share something, I'll be here. And remember, pushchopjapan.com. If you like this black Damascus Nakiri, they are in stock now, along with other things. But other than that, have a great day. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.